Hey, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the DVC Show. I am your host, Paul Krieger, and I am joined this week at the table by Senior Sales Associate and Brand Ambassador for DVC Resale Market, Derek DeBoer.
Hey now.
My lovely wife, Amy Krieger, and
Hello.
the Manager of Loan Origination. I told you by the end of today I was going to get it right?
I think that's it. Yeah.
Every
You
time
don't
you
even
do
know.
the intro, every time you do, you say me, and you go to, and I sit and go, will Paul get her title right? Will Paul get her title right?
I think I did it. Not sure. She's not sure, but we tried. And then our lovely producer back in the Nook, John Sakari, a.k.a. Big Fat Panda.
Hello, everyone.
Thank you all for joining us today. We are at the end of a round of shows with breaking news and all of that kind of fun stuff, but we are in the home stretch now and excited to be here. And this week's topic, we decided we are going to continue down a route that we started a few weeks ago, thanks to Lauren Dela Cruz, who's an amazing writer and one of our contributors over on DVC Fan. She also contributes to articles and blogs on Resale Market, Rental Store, all those different places. So definitely thank you to Lauren for all of her hard work in the articles and some of the inspiration for some of these shows. But we actually did a show not too long ago where we discussed the best DVC one-bedroom villas, and we decided to take that a step further. Lauren had an article that was the best DVC Deluxe Studio Villas. Mm-hmm. And so we decided to sort of go down that path. Before we get to the article, we may go around the room and get some ideas as to, from the panel here, as to what everyone's best are. But before we get into that, if you love our content here at DVC Fan, please show some love for our sponsors over at the World of DVC, DVC Resale Market, where if you're looking to buy a Disney Vacation Club resale contract or potentially looking to sell your DVC contract, they can give you an assistance with that. I said that weird. An assistance with that. They can help with that. Derek can help with that.
We can assist and help.
He is waiting for your call right now.
We do it all.
Monera Financial, where if you're looking to buy that Disney Vacation Club resale contract, they can help you by financing that purchase, make it a very affordable monthly payment for you. And then DVC Rental Store, if you're looking to try before you buy, if you're headed to Walt Disney World, Aulani, you name it, and want to save a bunch of money as compared to that rack rate price that Disney charges for these rooms, DVC Rental Store is going to help get you that. And then also if you're a DVC member and you have extra points at the end of this year or at any point that you want to rent out, our team can help with that as well. So please show some love for our sponsors. But resorts, studios, well, not resort studios, but deluxe studio properties at a Disney Vacation Club resort, I think, are probably the most popular. They're the ones that most people buy in for. It's the best value in points in most situations. They are just, most resorts have the most studios, except for a couple that are weird, and I don't know. But I think that they are probably the most popular villa that people stay in, and so obviously we have our thoughts as to what are the best. And so
They're always the first to go.
Yeah.
Studios, always.
And Lauren put together an amazing article that we'll get to cover some of the topics that she mentioned, some of the best studio options that she suggested. I have to slow down. But before we get into that article, I thought let's go around the room, get an idea. Let's start with our newest DVC member in the room.
The best deluxe studio villas.
You name it.
It's the Riviera. Thanks for watching, folks. We hope you had a good time. We see you next week on Monday. Yeah, no, the Riviera, to me, there's something even about just the studio. It's just a very deluxe, appointed feeling. The tile, the way the bathroom is split into two, I'm sold that that's the best.
Yeah, I don't think any villa currently sort of matches the decor of Riviera, matches sort of the grand nature that they've brought to those rooms. It is definitely the sparkliest and the prettiest as of now, and really gets the ambience.
Well, yeah, it's got the new car smell.
It does. Yeah, it's kind of that wears off about month in. Then gets some other smells.
Then they pump it in,
yeah. Right? But yeah, no, it's the newest property that is at Walt Disney World. I'm sort of pushing Grand Floridian into a different category. I know the new villas are there, but the total package at Riviera, it is sort of the premier DVC resort, is where they go to showcase Disney Vacation Club. It's where they take you for that tour. It's where they're actively selling properties, and it's just an all-around beautiful resort at Riviera. So I don't disagree with you there, but I'm not going to end the show there.
We've actually not ever stayed in a deluxe studio at Riviera. We've stayed in the Tower Studios. We stayed in a 1-bedroom, but we have a reservation coming up for one of the Moonlight Magic events. So I'm actually excited to actually try the deluxe studio there. We've been in one. We've seen them, but I do agree it is very shiny. It's very new. It's very well appointed, and it's very well kept right now.
Yes.
Being, they sweep the balconies with sweepers and stuff, with vacuums. Yeah, they do. I watched it.
Amy has one care when it comes to Disney Vacation Club properties, and it's whether or not you're vacuuming your balcony.
No, there's a thing called de-spidering the balcony at the Polynesian.
Oh yeah.
I heard them say, "Are you going to go de-spider 3 times?" I'm like, de-spider? Yes, every time, multiple times a day.
It's Florida. Yes, you have to.
Yeah, you do spider 24/7 here in
So I'm
Florida.
all about
or else
that.
You're gonna get some big spiders. Derek, what is your choice for the best deluxe studio?
Mine was
the Riviera.
Yeah. So mine was easy. Mine was a no-brainer because for me, it's impossible to take into account to try to pick a studio unless you're literally blindfolding me and putting me into the room and then blindfolding me. You have to take the whole resort as the part of the whole package. So for me, it's the Polynesian. Is for me by far, hands down, bar none. If I could stay in any studio, if you told me I could only stay in a studio at any DVC resort and never stay in any other studio, I would pick the Polynesian just because they're huge. The 2 bathrooms. I love the big balconies that they have. I love the theming that they have. Their lighting inside, as we all know, I think is impeccable. Lamps and theme. Everything is just perfect to me at the Polynesian. It's just so big. It just doesn't feel like when you get in there, like, oh my God, I'm in a studio. There's others, which again are beautiful. But man, we did a Copper Creek studio not that long ago. And I was like, yikes,
Yeah, it's a lot
these things
smaller.
are tiny. These things are small. So for me, throw in the fact that you're at the Polynesian, which once you're in that resort, you're in a bubble unlike anything else on earth, with Cinderella Castle right across the way, the Grand, the Contemporary, and then you go back to your room at the end of the day. To me, Polynesian wins hands
You are
down.
very persuasive. I now want to go book the Poly.
And it's constantly de-spidered. So remember that.
And you know what else? They have, the Polynesian has the best balcony chairs.
No, my God.
They're
It's so
so
funny you said that. I was
comfortable.
just gonna say,
Yeah.
because so many chairs are like the kind where you
Yes.
sit and go like, ow, who sits on these metal contraptions
Yeah.
like this? Those, perfect point. That makes you want to sit. I'm a balcony person, so I love, to me, getting a good balcony with a great view just to have a cup of coffee or a drink at the end of the day. It makes you want to just stay out there.
Yep.
And it's great watching the people go by. Because again, to me, a balcony is part of it when you're in a studio. And that's what I love being able to tell guests is, that have never stayed in a deluxe resort and, we've only stayed at the All-Star, we've only stayed at a moderate resort. Like, one of the coolest parts about it when you're DVC is all of your rooms, including the studios, have balconies. And if you've never had a balcony before, because you don't get a balcony at a moderate resort, really, you don't get a balcony at a value resort. So that's part of the whole experience to me. So sitting out there on comfy chairs, watching everybody
Without spiders.
no, spider-free comfy chair, watching people go to the Magic Kingdom and watching the families come back from a day at the Magic Kingdom or going to Epcot. It's
You're
awesome.
making me think of what my choice for the best deluxe studio is probably going to be, which would be I'm very specific to this, so I'll say, and I agree, Lauren put this in the article, a Boardwalk View Deluxe Studio at the Boardwalk Villas, or the Garden View that
Village
over the
Green.
Village Green area. Now that one's harder to get, so Boardwalk View is going to do it, but to your point, like sitting on my balcony, people watching, I could do that all day and be extremely happy. But those Boardwalk View villas, just, you can get some amazing views of Spaceship Earth. It's just in that location that you
even
want
just
to be
sitting
in.
there and just watching, like at night, watch the boardwalk come alive at night, and watch people when they start to play the carnival games, and then groups of people are going to dinner, and you hear that music, and you watch the Edison bulbs, turn on at night.
To turn on, yeah.
And you sit out there. If we could find a way to put a poly room at the boardwalk, on the balcony of the boardwalk, that would be perfect with comfy chairs. Yeah,
with despidering that.
Despidering
Right.
that. And the boardwalk rooms are going to get better pretty soon as well. Those are going to get a refurbishment here late this year into early next year. We've seen that they've started to take some of the boardwalk rooms out of inventory for that refurbishment. This is a full refurbishment, I do believe.
Yes, it's not soft goods.
Not soft goods.
It's hard
So they
goods
are-
and everything. It's
They
gonna
are
be-
gutting that thing
I'm
all the way down
excited.
to the studs, and they are going to pump in some amazing new themed rooms. We've not really gotten any idea of what those look like, but based
Yeah.
off of the current refurbishments, they've all been beautiful.
It'll be pretty.
Amy.
Yeah, so this is the one I thought Derek was going to pick, but if we're just talking about the room, we're just talking about the studio itself and the amenities of that studio, I'm going to consider this a studio because it has all the things that a studio would normally have, but I absolutely love Vero Beach ocean view in rooms. I think that the room is it's a great size. They make a great use of the space. You get 2 queen beds just like you do in like an Old Key West studio. There's just the furniture is really nice in there, and they're coming under a refurb soon too, which I didn't even think that it needed.
No.
Yeah, I think it looks amazing still. And there's still a kitchenette, just like a studio. And the bathroom is it's a very nice bathroom for a studio. And the view, if you're doing the ocean view in room, it's just an amazing view, of the ocean. And the resort is just very, very small and quaint, and it's quiet and peaceful. But if I'm thinking about just like the room in the best rooms that DVC has to offer, I absolutely love that ocean view in room at Vero Beach.
I was gonna pick it, but I didn't know if it counted because it's called an in room because they still have regular studios.
Yeah.
So I was with you 1,000%. If I could pick one room and one room only, it would definitely be the Vero Beach in room.
And the difference is that the
Yeah.
deluxe studios, they do have what is it, a pull-out couch there probably, and the one bed just like the normal studios do. And the in-room has 2 queen beds.
And they're in like different clusters of buildings.
Yeah.
So what's great, like Amy was talking about, is the in room is all in that main building right there at Vero. So you're in this beautiful lobby that they have. It's just incredible. So everything is just on the floors right there. So you're centrally located to everything possible. And again, even a standard view room is not bad when you get an in room, and the sizes are huge.
It's a big room. Yeah, and the deluxe studios are in the outer buildings. But yeah, the in-room is where it's at. That's one of my favorite rooms.
So let's touch on a couple of the ones that Lauren did mention in the article as well. First and foremost, she went with you, Derek. She said Polynesian.
Very smart, Lauren.
I knew
I liked you.
They are some of the largest DVC studios that are on property. They were just refurbished in 2021. And, absolutely beautiful. They've got the Murphy style pull down beds. They've got your lamps, which you love. And so, great
Sleep 5.
ones. These ones, I do agree with this selection, but I know we're going to talk about this a little bit more extensively. Bay Lake Tower theme park view. Definitely probably one of the better studio options when it comes to the view, the location, all of that kind of stuff. But we were talking just a little bit ago. They definitely need some love. And they're going to get some love here in 2024 based off of what we know with the refurbishment schedule. We stayed one time, I believe, in a deluxe studio that was theme park.
So Panda and Derek don't seem like they're very big fans of Bay Lake, but I love Bay Lake Tower, and every time I'm in that resort, I just feel like so immersed in Magic Kingdom. Like I can see Magic Kingdom from when I'm getting on the elevator from the big windows. We've done a theme park view room. It's like spaceship, space. Oh my goodness, Space Mountain. I don't know what I was just about to call it. Space Mountain is like right, like I feel like I could touch it from my room, and the castle and everything. And then even when you're in Magic Kingdom, I'm like, oh, look, there's my room. I can see my room from Magic Kingdom. So I just feel like it's so immersed in that park that resort is part of that park. And the studios there, like they are worn, they are in need of refurbishment, they are getting one. But I like the layout. I don't know. You've got this, like, your kitchenette is like this room area. I do wish it had more to it because it's big enough that it feels like it could have, like, I don't know, some sort of cooking device or something. But I don't know. I like the rooms. I like the little bathrooms. And I like that I can lay on my bed or my couch and I can stare at Magic Kingdom. So I'm with Lauren on that.
And I agree with all of that. That I think the resort itself is great. And when I went into the room, I think it felt like lost potential because I thought it could just be a little bit better. But it's not stopping me from going there. I was just telling them I booked July 3rd and 4th. I had a non-theme park view room. I waitlisted theme park and it came through.
Oh my goodness! So you can watch the 4th of July fireworks.
The
Twice.
3rd and the 4th.
The 3rd and the 4th. So I was
so
thrilled
jealous.
about that.
I'm coming over.
You can come.
I was just going to say.
You can come
What's
visit.
great too on those nights is that typically Top of the World Lounge is prioritized for people staying at Bay Lake Tower.
Ooh.
Also, when they did the very controversial private party that we went to several years ago on the 4th of July, they originally opened it up to everyone, and since then they've been opening up those events. If they would do like a paid event at Top of the World, they would open it up to the guests that are staying at Bay Lake Tower first, but they do prioritize Top of the World Lounge. So you're going to have a front row seat to
Yeah, I
some
can't
great
wait. Can't
fireworks.
I just sit on your balcony with like a
I would
glass
just
of
sit on
wine.
the
You know what I
balcony.
mean? I don't want to go up there. I'll just sit in my pajamas and watch the
As a matter
fireworks.
of fact, on the 3rd, you guys should all come. That'd be fun.
Don't tempt me with a good
I'm
time, Panda.
coming.
No, you can come. You're invited. All of you.
Also on the list here, Old Key West Deluxe Studio. I think often forgot about Studio. These are some of the original Disney Vacation Club rooms that are out there. Did go through a refurbishment a few years ago. The thing you can't get away from here is the point charts. You can get these puppies for a steal. 10
It's like
points
as low
a night.
as 9. I think it
9
goes down
points
to
a night.
9 some seasons.
Wow.
Yeah.
20% less than any other resort.
Yep.
Yeah. So we were just at a studio at Old Key West. It was our first time at a studio there because we've done 1-bedrooms there a couple times, and I really liked it. It's different than the other studios. It has a different shape to it. The bathroom is a really good size for a studio. You get 2 queen beds, which for some people, especially right now, I know the Murphy beds are a lot better, but we still have some pull-out couches around some of the DVC resorts. So having those 2 queen beds, if you have more family with you, is probably pretty valuable too. But yeah, I think all in all, it's just super economical. It's very peaceful. We had a very nice view of like the water and like golf courses. So that's a good one.
Old Key West members will tell me for over 20 years and say, yeah, you know what? Whenever a new resort opens, we always try it out, but then we always go back to Old Key West.
Yeah.
There's people that literally will always try everything new because, again, that's what's fun. But the Old Key West people that love that resort, they love it. And the points are, like you said, ridiculously low. The rooms are ridiculously big. And people go, why is the point chart so low? Because, again, that's why you buy DVC. Because when you make a point chart, you can't just say, hey, we need to add 100 more points to it or 200 more. So they made that point chart. So the total number of points can't change. So that's why people look at that point chart and go, wow. That's why people will look at the point chart for the new Disneyland Tower and go, wow.
Wow.
Because they're starting from scratch. But
Yeah.
Old Key West is always a banger.
Yeah, and we just received, some of the early news for who knows? By the time this show goes up, we could have even more Disneyland Tower news. What do you think? Let's just speculate real quick. What do you think the per night cost, average per night cost in a studio out at Disneyland DVC Tower is going to be?
Do you know off the top of your, or can you check what is
Grand Cal.
Grand Cal?
Yeah, I can pull that up.
I want
real
to say
quick.
it's between
I would say it's going to be close to what Grand Cal is. So we got 4 nights for 68 points at Grand Cal during their lowest season. So what was that a point?
So Grand Cal ranges during low season as low as
17
17 points or as high as 37 points.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going between 25 and 40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like probably the lowest, no way I don't think it'll be less than 20.
So if you look at the Grand Floridian Resort Studios, the new ones that just opened at Big Pine Key, that point chart range is wild because the holidays are super expensive. I have to look it up really quickly just to very
Yeah,
high.
and the other one to really compare it to is Riviera, which also has seen some inflated studio costs. And part of that has to do with the view. We are not real certain yet as to whether or not we're going to have really view categories at Disneyland. I imagine there will be, though, to a degree. Some of them are going to face actually the neighborhood behind Disneyland. Some of them are probably going to be more of like a pool
Downtown
view
Disney. Oh, yeah.
and facing towards that downtown Disney area. I don't think any of them will actually be a theme park view or anything like that. But knowing how if they defined views at Riviera, which don't really make sense, they'll definitely define. They'll define some views
So the
here.
resort studios at Grand Floridian, I just find this really interesting. So you can get as low as 16 points a night for a standard view resort studio, and then if you go up to like the theme park view and the highest points per night season, which is like Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, 54 points a night
For a studio?
Yeah, isn't
Wow.
that crazy?
Oh my
It's a lot.
I was going to ask the question if we thought it would eclipse 50 points per night, but apparently we're already there. So
I win.
Yeah, I think it's going to be upwards of that, and I think longer seasons will see these prolonged high numbers more so here, just because of demand and stuff like that. So
Yes.
it'll be very interesting to see what
And we're going to be doing a separate show about how many points will one of the 2 grand villas be at the Disneyland Tower, which we just saw pictures of those 2, by the way. So by the time this show airs, I'm sure you might have seen them.
Riviera.
My jaw is still on the floor.
If Riviera Grand Villas go up to 204, those things will not like 300
I
at
would
least.
say, yeah.
350.
It looked like they had like 5. They had a fire pit outside, like 5 balconies. I mean, it looked ridiculous, and there's 2 of them.
It is.
And Panda, they're all spider free, which is great.
We hope.
I honestly, in looking at the artwork and looking at the original concept art, these things are a level above like a 3-bedroom grand villa.
I think so. 100%.
Yeah, if they come out the way that they look, and the way you probably should, if you're just putting 2 of these into a property, these are going to be the penthouse suites of these properties. I don't know how else to.
Anyway, back to studios where we can afford to stay.
But that's what's fun,
fun,
which I can tell you, being a vacation guide for a long time, when you talk to folks and when you take them on tour, of course, you're going to literally, like the thing you always would say was before you showed them the studio, right? Because they're probably staying in a value resort, maybe a moderate, maybe even a regular hotel room. But then you're like, do you remember? Think of your hotel room that you're in right now, right? And then you open up the door, say at Saratoga Springs, and here's a example of a studio room for whatever it might be, or maybe it's a Riviera studio, whatever it is. You build that whole tour is really like, hey, if you buy X amount of points, you can stay in a studio is always the example that they're going to use because it's the most common one. And that's the most common one that people will start staying in because they're just happy to be in a studio. Like this is amazing. But then you get into the bigger ones. And that's when people, once you stay in a 1-bedroom, you guys know that, it's hard to go back to staying anything else. But I think that's what's great. And what this show talks about is even if you just stay in studios, you still have such a huge amount of different themes and different sizes and different points to, make everybody happy. So it's all a personal decision.
The last one on Lauren's list, speaking of value, is going to be the elusive Animal Kingdom Lodge Value Studios. Very few of these villas are available at Jumbo House.
Do we know how many?
Somewhere.
Is it
off the top of my head.
8?
I think
used to know.
There's like 10 concierge rooms, but I think the values were less than that.
Yeah.
Like, I think they were 7 or
I think
8
it's
or something.
10.
Is
I
it?
think I could be wrong. Someone in the comments tell me, and I know I'm going to look this up and be like, oh, I knew that. But I think that there's, if we're just talking about the studios, I think there's 4 that have a pool view, 4 that have a like a Savannah view of sorts that are value, and 2 that are parking lot view, which if you play roulette, your odds of getting pole, which is very nice view, or Savannah are very high. Paul and I played roulette, and we did get the parking lot. So there was some very large lizard that definitely crawled across our door that night too.
But isn't that the same for the Riviera Tower rooms? There's like 3 or 4 of them. They're very low points. That strange room that's very tiny.
There's 3 on each floor, and there are 8 floors.
Yeah.
So they're all in that circular section.
Yes,
So
yeah.
in one hallway on one floor, there's 1, 2, 3, all in a circle.
Yeah.
And then there's 8 floors of those. So they are limited. We stayed at the top of one of those, and it was a cool view.
Yep. And those value studios at Animal Kingdom Lodge, they go down to 7 points per night. So just, in the value season.
And that's such a great article by Lauren too, which also made me think of when I think of that standard Animal Kingdom one is always another huge one too, just to kind of sidebar with that, is a standard view, basically a standard studio at the boardwalk. Wow. We have a lot of people that are like, I think I mainly want to stay at the boardwalk because I just want to get those standard view studios, during Food and Wine Festival or during this. I'm like, well, then you better not buy Saratoga. You better buy the boardwalk because those things go. I always tell people, what are the fastest rooms to go? It's always the studios with the worst views are always the first to go.
The cheap points.
They're the cheaper points. So that's it.
Well, there you have it. I think that's going to do it for us. Amazing studio options. I don't think any choice is a bad choice when it comes to a deluxe studio property. They all provide a great value for Disney Vacation Club members. And you have a wide range to choose from. So that'll do it for this episode of the DVC show. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you all next week.